And so it's really, really terrific.
There we go. By the way, let me mention one other thing, and this is really good. Many times when I was working, for instance, with Skype, and we would record video, we'd have to use a third-party tool to record that. And well, occasionally it would happen that something would go wrong with the recording, and then, oh my goodness, we didn't have it. And we had this special person, great interview, and then it didn't work, and I had to actually call them back and redo it. That's always embarrassing. Nice thing about this with Zoom, I can say, okay, everybody on the call, record this, because if one doesn't work for whatever reason, we know we've got backups. There's that word again, backups that are available from others. Plus, those of you that are doing coaching, as an example, many of you I know do coaching one-on-one. Here's a great tool so that you can have your client record it, and they've got it, audio and video right there. Mamie, did you have a question?
I did.
What is your name?
My name is Jeanette DePatty.
Hi, Jeanette.
Hi. My question is, if you are wanting to broadcast where the people are, and Facebook is the biggest social media network, first of all, are you seeing this as the likely go-to growth place for this kind of live streaming? And my second question is, do you know if Facebook Live is going to allow more than one person to talk at a time? Thanks.
I don't know if they're going to allow more than one at a time, but I do know that Facebook Live is strong, but I think that you have a different kind of environment for it. Gina, what were you going to mention? You've got that on your phone there.
Yeah, let me share my, oh, well, I guess I don't need to share a screen. I just need to share my phone. So hang on. Okay, so can you guys see that? I bet you can.
Yes.
All right, this is a new option that is available. I think everybody has it now on Facebook Mobile. Most people don't have it on Facebook Desktop or laptop, but on Facebook Mobile, the far right option where it used to just, be an image or tag somebody or location, those sorts of things, you can now record live on Facebook. I don't think they're going to have the capability to do more than one person. So this is where you've got to think about, what is your goal? What is your style? What do you like best? So if you're strong at either holding the phone or putting it on a tripod in front of you and delivering a message, a brief message, the way that you interact with people is you look at the chat that's going down below. So it's not as interactive as Blab, which is why I still like Blab better. The same thing with Periscope. Periscope is also a live streaming tool onto a mobile device, and messages come up, but they disappear very quickly. I personally don't care a lot for Periscope, but I'll give you a great example of somebody who used it very successful, and that is Randy Gage. I think he has visited your chapter. You probably know of him, Hall of Fame, National Speakers Association, two times New York Times bestseller, Wall Street Journal bestseller. And so last summer, July, he started doing Periscope every single day about his thought leadership. And then by the time his book was coming out in January, he had tons of people that were watching his scopes, loving him. He didn't have to, certainly he had to do a lot of work, but he had a ready-made, rabid fan base there of people who'd been interacting with him every day. And so they bought his book, and it became a bestseller again.
So my one other question is, do you know if you can live broadcast from a Facebook group?
To my knowledge, you cannot live broadcast from a Facebook group. You could tell the people in your group, though. What I would do is I'd tell the people in the group, hey guys, I'm going to be live broadcasting, and so this is going to go in your Facebook personal profile, or I think you can do it from a page also. So put that link where you're going to be broadcasting, and there's a way to grab the actual URL. I won't go through that, but just tell them to go over to your personal profile, and then you're going to tell them that you're broadcasting there. And because of the viral nature of the groups, a lot of people will be notified pretty quickly.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of different tools, and in a way, what you want to do is you want to be able to understand each strength and the strengths and weaknesses of each of the tools that we're talking about, from Zoom to Skype to Google Hangouts with Webinar Jam Studio and others.
Terry and Gina, we're back in Zoom right now. It's serving our purposes to have a multi-window. Fortunately, Joel was able to come in. It looked like somebody named Archer.
Shirley Archer.
That's
Tom. Excellent. Oh, excellent. Okay, I'm just trying to figure that out. I said I recognize the name, but did you get the link from the Blab link?
I was checked in there as well.
Okay, so notice what happened. Be very, very careful. I said to myself, who's this person, Archer? She must have been, the Blab session was being transmitted. So you need to understand, anybody out there can see this stuff. And while she's a member of the family right now because she's here, she was trying to insinuate herself into a subsequent session. And if you wanted this to be a private session,
but we welcome her. Welcome, Shirley.
Yes.
Now, see, Zoom is a private.
This is okay because we want as much following as we can. I'm just saying, be careful when you're going from one to another. You put a link out there, say, hey, let's go to channel 19, and the Russians are listening to channel 19. Not that they were Russians.
And Hillary's email.
Listen.
Yes, very good point. Let me point out also, when we were in Blab, I said, you know who's watching by the little icons at the top? Actually, other people could have been watching that they had not logged in with Twitter. So that's something to know too, that people can watch just if they go to the right link. They can be watching and you can't see that they're there. But that's one of the cool things about Zoom. Zoom is more private.
Yeah,
So,
it is very nice. Yeah, by the way, before we end, I know we have a hard stop in less than 15 minutes. Is that correct? At 45 minutes after?
Any other technology demonstrations, or how would you like to spend the remaining time?
well, I would like to, Terry, we would plan to share screen for Webinar Jam Studio, which is a final technology, or we could take questions. I know we've covered a lot here.
Well, I think if you could just demonstrate it without us going there, if you could just share a screen and talk about that, because I think people would be interested, even as participants, how do webinars get constructed and staged?
There's Shirley.
Was that?
Shirley.
There's Shirley again. Hi, Shirley.
She's in! Oh my God! Oh my God, she's in!
Okay, very good. Very good.
Hey, Tom.
We will do that. We will go to Webinar Jam Studio in just 1 second. Before we wrap up with some of the things with Blab and with Joel, I want to point out a couple things, because I just made 4 figures, a nice little 4 figures by participating in a Blab recently. So this is where I didn't even know a Blab was going on, but I was searching crowdfunding because that's an area I'm interested in. I saw a Blab. I saw the people that were doing it, and I noticed a service that the host could use that I do Wikipedia pages for people sometimes. That's one of the services I provide. And so I noticed he was very notable. There was tons of press about him, but he did not have a Wikipedia page. I reached out to him and I said, hey, do you want one? He said, yeah. He sent me some money. I created 2 Wikipedia pages for him, and I think we did a good job. He's probably going to refer me. So this is just a way to, hey, how can you make money? In that same Blab that Joel Block and I did, a lady who's an expert that I didn't know, and Joel might have known her, she popped on. She had a lot of good content to add in our chat, and she popped into the Blab. You know, I'm going to put her on my list of people to interview about crowdfunding. That may generate business for her. So you see how this works.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing that we can do. The technology is there. Tom, you had a question.
I'd like to point out something. Shirley Archer came into the session and she's pointing out a very important technique. She doesn't want you to watch her resting bitchy face. And so what she's done, rather than having to maintain a profile that's acceptable professionally while other people are talking and she might be a little bit distracted, she's posted a very fine and acceptable picture that maintains a professional profile while she gets to sit there and do other things in a distracted way, which appears to be disrespectful to the speaker, which is otherwise it's not. But there's a website, if you go out to it, it's several years old. Look up resting bitchy face. There's a whole understanding. There's a whole understanding when you're
gonna have to explain that one.
when you're on an interview and they place you in a waiting room, don't kid yourself. They're watching you. They want to see how you behave when you think that nobody's watching.
That's absolutely right.
They want to know, and there's a correlation. If you put on a face that's smiling all the time, but when you're alone and you're going through things and you're reading emails and you get a very irritated look, and they say, oh, this is how the person really interacts with information. That's their bitch face. And do we want to work with that person? It's a real thing. Resting bitchy face. I have to applaud Shirley Archer because I was going to ask Gina and Terry about that because it's something you have to manage. You have to be aware of when you're not talking.
Amazing what you learn in this.
Don't be disrespectful. Don't be disrespectful to the others who are speaking and feign disinterest. Pardon me? Oh, absolutely, men. No, men. Oh, men are the worst bitches. Oh, this is not a sexist thing. This is men have to. Oh, that's your prejudice. That bitch is a female thing. I'm saying I got a bitchy face. You ought to see it. Yes, I do.
The quick thing about that, how do you actually show that photo instead of yourself?
How did you do that, Shirley?
In my profile.
Well,
no, it's on there.
You can switch the screen.
You can use your video.
You can switch the screen. You can go to screen. Let's let them go to web. We'll do Q&A. We'll do Q&A in a second. We need to go to the webmaster thing because this is content that you're going to have. I'm going to hold up now. Go ahead, Gina.
Okay, Terry, give them an overview of what Webinar Jam Studio is and why they would want to use it.
Webinar Jam Studio is a tool that's designed by marketers for marketers. And that means for us speakers that want to market information, it is a jewel. It can really help you make money. I've used it and made lots from using it for many different reasons. You use Google Plus Hangouts or Google Hangouts. They dropped the plus a while back. Google Hangouts, and it gives you the ability to broadcast literally to the world, because you're using YouTube and Google Hangouts, so that if you could get literally millions of people on there for free. That's the key, for free. Webinar Jam Studio is an add-on that goes on top of it. It kind of clamps on top of it, and for an additional $400 a year, you have unlimited use of this, and it gives you the ability to register people and have their email address, and then send them notices when you want. Now, don't forget, 2 days from now, we're going to do this webinar that we talked about, or 2 hours from now, it'll be here. And so I like to use that a lot, and it gives you the ability to have the faces of people on the screen. This is where we as speakers can separate ourselves from all the other webinars that are done. The word webinar itself has actually become a negative because it's usually boring. It's usually pretty bad. But you can use this now, and Gina's putting up there a bit.ly of our Webinar Jam TB. That's our affiliate link for what we're doing. And everyone that gets it through us, we give special training on how to use Webinar Jam and how to use this to make money. But you can use this to now then take polls of people. You can play videos of pre-recorded material that you want for like 2 or 3 minutes so you can send your message across easily. You can also bring in, this is important, bring in people from around the world to immediately be on your Google Hangout with Webinar Jam Studio. So it's got some really nice things about it. One of the best parts is how easy it is to set it up. So Gina, I'm going to let you, I know you got that ready to go there. Show us how we can get that set up in just about like 2-3 minutes is how much time we have.
Yes. Well, one of the things that's good about this is whereas Blab, you can only have 4 talking heads at once, you can have up to 10 in Google Plus Hangouts in the Webinar Jam Studio. So if you've ever tried to use Google Plus Hangouts in the past, it's a powerful tool, but it has some limitations. And as Terry said, using Webinar Jam Studio, it makes the marketing of the event very easy, makes it easy to tell people where to go, makes it easy to set up a beautiful registration page, which is what I have right here. I set this up the other day. It really did not take very long. I'm going to show you behind the scenes in the Webinar Jam Studio in just a minute, but I wanted to start by showing you what this registration page looks like. It did have a countdown there. I was able to pull some graphics and put my bullet points down below, and let's see if I can scroll down to that. Put my bullet points down below, and it had a countdown timer there. You click register now. So the beauty of this, unlike Blab, I get their email addresses. Now using Blab, there's an indirect way to get email addresses, but it's, you know, I'm not going to go into that for this session right here. I do know how to do it. It's hard, but this, you automatically can get their email addresses. So let's go back into Webinar Jam, the app. Now, Tom, tell me, okay, let me move that over so that it's not blocking. I think the pictures on the side were blocking. Let's go back right here. This is the dashboard, the panel. And so this is one of the hardest things. You know, how do you have people sign up? Well, you just click the different template that you want here. You can click, I'm showing you how to set up a registration page. You can add photos, you can add video. You can add a countdown clock. You can add your bullet points or paragraph form, whatever you want. So you see there, it's just fill in the blank, makes it really nice and easy. So now that I've done that, I can confirm it. I can move forward, and I can set up my notifications. This is another beautiful part about Webinar Jam, something you don't get in Blab, you don't get in Zoom. This is marketing components. So I want to notify people. I want to send out an email, and I want it to be easy for me. So I'm sending out, I say, hey, I want to notify them right as soon as they register. Send them the email, give them the link. I want to let them know 24 hours in advance, 15 minutes in advance. You can set up an unlimited number, and it literally is as easy as I just click on edit. I don't have to plug in the links. I don't have to plug in the title or the date and the time and worry that I got it wrong. It automatically puts it in there for me. If you guys are paying attention, you've ever tried to do webinars before, this is absolutely worth its weight in gold. This little last part that we're doing right here of this powerful, powerful tool. Gosh, I'd love to discuss the other things that we have here. You've got to save that, confirm. Then it can send the, I program it to send out the replay immediately as soon as the webinar is done. I can program it to send out another replay link 2 days later or more links. Right here, I can integrate it. I know I need to calm down. I can integrate it with my Aweber email program. So I get the emails in my Webinar Jam, but they're going to be easier to work with in my actual email, Constant Contact, Aweber, MailChimp, Infusionsoft. So I absolutely, right here, my email integration, I can integrate it right there. Some other options there, I'm just trying to point out the really important ones today. I can bring in a custom video. So I can take a video that I've already recorded. So let's say I did a real good explanation of my product. During my live video where we're talking just like this, I can pop it in, turn it on, it's going to play, and it's also going to be recorded as part of the recorded video that I have. Let's see, when I go live, I can also launch polls. I can, let's say that we're marketing that Build Your Business course, or I'm marketing a Wikipedia page. I can have a little block that pops up that says, click here to get more information about Build Your Business or a Wikipedia page. I can schedule from the get-go that I want the replay to play, or if I didn't like that replay and I wanted to bring in another one that I recorded that was better, I could bring that one in. So then people have the same, when they see the same option, they're going to come in and see the replay to the one that I really liked. I can charge. So let's say that I wanted to do a Webinar Jam Studio training that's going to last a little longer, go more in depth, hint, hint. I can say, hey, pay $47 to attend this webinar, and I can make it either free to register, which is what we mostly do, or I can set it up so that it's a paid option. Now it's going to say, hey, you want to go live right now? You want to run a test? How do you want to start? Along the way, there's all sorts of training. This is another gold mine right here. I'm clicking the analytics. In the analytics, I can select a webinar. So let's select this one right here, Power Women NSA. And I want to set the time. Just going to show you briefly what it shows you here. It'll show you, hey, how many people came onto that webinar? Look at this. How many people came to the page? How many people actually signed up? How many people actually attended? How many people attended the replay? I can launch a survey where when they register, I can ask them, hey, what is it you really want to learn? And I can take those survey results. Now, inside the webinar, it'll tell me, hey, how many people stayed, how long they stayed. I know you guys probably can't see all these details right here, but how many people watched the replay? How long did they stay? If I was monetizing it, how did I monetize it? This one was not a monetized one. And I can see my list of the attendees, who was there, email, all that information. So that was a real quick and dirty on Webinar Jam. You can probably see why Terry and I like it so much. And there's reasons you'll use this versus the others. Terry, what would you like to add to that?
Well, I think it's a fabulous little tool, and I encourage people to look into it. I also notice it is now time for us to be out of here, and we hit that hard stop. But we really appreciate all of you. And Tom, thank you for what you have done to make it happen.
Well, thank the both of you. Do you have a couple of minutes where we can just allow the audience to ask a question or two? Is that okay with you?
Love it. Absolutely.
Because you've done a great job. We had a little bit of technical glitch, and Todd really compressed his message for the Academy, but let's take 4 or 5 minutes, and we'll do a hard stop in 5 minutes. And then Judy has a question.
Sounds good. Hi, Judy.
Too. That's a statement, not a question. But thanks for coming. Thanks for doing this. Joel, welcome. We're glad to see you.
Hey, how are you?
We're going to see you next month too. Great program coming.
I'll see you next month. That'd be great. Thanks.
Let's do the question.
Terry, here's my question, and Gina both. You mentioned that if you want to do like a show or something, that not to charge for it. You suggested not doing that. You get the advertisers to pay for it, like Real TV is. But the other part of it is, then you mentioned your LinkedIn, which is a module that a business model that people set, how to do business on LinkedIn or whatever it was, that you said you charge for that. And I do an open seminar, for instance, twice a year for speakers who want to be speakers. It's in person. But there are some people who are in Iowa and they can't come to that. So would you charge for that then because we certainly charge here because we use video camera and all of that, but we could do a mini module. Would you charge for that, or how would that work?
Yeah, I think that's a viable way to do it. You have the choice going either way. And so you could have your seminar that's live, but for those who really couldn't join you for whatever reason, they can't be there, but they would love to be part of it and they'd be willing to pay. Having a version that is live or recorded and they get it later makes a lot of sense. There's some Webinar Jam Studio, as you just saw, does give you that option to charge for it. So that's a good tool to use for it.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Question over here? Yeah, come on.
Good. Hi, my name's Ellen.
Hi, Ellen.
Hi. This has been fantastic, but I do have a question about a couple of other technologies for products. One of the ones I've been hearing about is Kajabi, and then I've looked into Udemy, Skillshare. So my question is, are you familiar with those? Do you recommend them in terms of putting out courses, or should you host them on your own website and maybe do it through a webinar?
Gina, why don't you take that one?
Okay, I have some thoughts on that. What we've been talking about today mainly are the methodologies for creating the content, for recording it. We haven't gone into a lot of detail about how to amplify it other than share it in your Facebook group, share it in your social networks. Okay, so Udemy, Udemy, and thank you so much for bringing that up. That's a great place. Once you've recorded this content, put it on Udemy, because Udemy's they have millions of users, people who are looking to learn things, and you can put your content out there for free and they will sell it for you. Now, if they sell it for you without any interaction from you, they charge a certain percentage. If you, I think the current policy is, if you share the link to the Udemy course and you sell it, essentially, you get a certain fee, you get a better fee. So you get, you get compensated, which is really cool. Plus you have all those eyeballs that would never know about you that are looking at Udemy. So you can do it all of the above. I'm pretty sure that even if you sell it privately, you can still sell it on Udemy. So I have not used Udemy a lot except as a user at this point, but it's a fantastic place. Now Kajabi, to my knowledge, Kajabi is not exactly a place to share your content, but you can use the tools of Kajabi to, once you've created it, to amplify it and to let people know about it. So that's my response to that. And the last one that you mentioned, I don't recall it, but I don't think that it was a content creation machine.
Yeah, they're just different tools to handle different tasks. And
let me just say, Tom, we are fine to stay until 3. We noted in your notes that you said wrap up at 2:45. Yeah, we're trying to be cognizant of that.
Yeah, I think this will be the last question, and then we'll wrap up. We have to have a little bit of a break logistically here, but.
Hi, me again.
Hi.
Question: I'm using a GoToMeeting and GoToWebinars. How does it compare to Webinar Jam?
Webinar Jam is light years ahead of it. GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar are really more, I look at them as more like 20th century tools. They do have some features and things, but what you can do with Webinar Jam Studio, first of all, is a whole lot cheaper. And secondly, it is feature rich to get a lot more done, particularly for marketers. And so I'd look at Webinar, GoToWebinar, GoToMeeting, those products. Okay, and I hope that my competitors are using those, and I'll use Webinar Jam Studio with Google Hangouts and get a lot more mileage out of it.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and specifically, yes, as Terry said, it's much less expensive than if you were trying to broadcast to the same number of people using GoToWebinar. I believe GoToWebinar still does not allow you to bring in a lot of talking heads, which makes it much more interactive. GoToMeeting allows you to bring in some, but your audience is much more limited. So there's all these little nuances, and that's part of what we're going to send you in that ginacarr.com/live stream. If you go there, we'll send you some of our thoughts on those things as far as what makes one better than the other, what's more public, what's more private. Just the fact that using Webinar Jam Studio, you literally can broadcast to the entire world. That alone, for only $400 a year, that alone makes it a winner.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this was just a phenomenal session today. I mean, we talked about a topic and we used it. We had the self-reference. I think the things that I took away from it is that through the lens of our phones, our computers, and so forth, applications can look a lot alike, but you have to use it. This is not. They're very much capable of you using them in a spectator mode. But if you're going to be speaking, if you're going to be using these tools, this is not a spectator sport. You must engage the tools and then try to do the same things from tool to tool to tool. Because if you stress test them that way, we love you too. If you stress test them that way, you'll get some practical application. So, ladies and gentlemen, Terry Brock, Gina Carr, send some love.
Thank you. Yeah,
Guys, thank you so much. You get the last word to our group.
My last words are thank you so much, Judy Jurna, for bringing us in. We really appreciate it. Thank you, Tom, for helping us get this set up and navigate everything. And Connie, I know you were right there with us and would be there if you weren't ill. I did want to say we covered a lot of the technology. If you guys want help with how to look good on camera, your makeup, your lighting, how to project yourself, make eye contact, Judy Jurna is the go-to person for that. You guys have an incredible resource there right in your own chapter.
Absolutely.
Thanks very much.
Your generosity. You gave us so much. Thank you. And Stan's off this weekend, so we'll call you later today.
Okay,
Wonderful.
Terry,
All right,
final
thanks
word?
a bunch, and we'll look forward to seeing you again.
Take care, guys. Thanks so much.
Okay. Bye now.